Hi and welcome to this vlog where I'm combining the celebration of March as Women's History Month and 5th of March as UK World Book Day. And whilst I understand the reason for a month focused on women's history, it does also make me irritable that we even need it, because history generally that is written and history that we are taught at school tends to be from a male perspective. History is rarely written from a women's perspective. And I love it when I come across books about women I've never heard of, written by women, and I'm sharing a selection of them for you in this vlog. Any book that starts with World Women gets my attention. And Mariella Frostrup, a broadcaster, presenter and writer, has edited this fabulous book, Wild Women and Their Amazing Adventures Over Land, Sea and Air. Of the 51 women's stories in this book, I had only heard of 7 of those women, and I think I'm pretty clued up. This book is a reminder that even in history, women wanted adventure, and they did take off to see the world. We just don't hear that about them in the same way that the men who did that. This is an inspiring book with women who deserve a place in history. Staying on the theme, Women Travellers, edited by Mary Morris, this too is about women travellers throughout history and includes some of those women's own writing about their travels. Women such as Ethel, Brilliana, Tweedy, and I just love her simply for her name. She had a challenging life, and after losing her father, husband and 2 sons, Ethel set off to travel to far-flung parts of the globe. So in this book, there are first-hand accounts of how it was for women in history to travel to such places, usually the domain of men. Plus in Ethel's writing, there's a piece about, is it acceptable for women to ride astride? That is, not ride inside saddle on a horse. Have times changed? Maybe. Some of you may have heard of Jenny Murray, a fabulous woman in herself, a respected broadcaster, and best known for the BBC radio programme Women's Hour for 33 years, which she presented from 1987 to 2020. She is the author of these 2 books, which are more contemporary than the previous 2 books I showed you. A History of Britain in 21 Women and A History of the World in 21 Women. More contemporary in terms of women you may have heard of, such as Margaret Thatcher, Frida Kahlo, Margaret Atwood, Hillary Clinton, Angela Merkel, Nicola Sturgeon and Mary Quant, to name but a few. But here is a taste of what you're in for. Here's a quote that Jenny has at the start of A History of Britain in 21 Women. And this is a quote from Steve Budolph, who wrote a book called Raising Boys. In an anti-male era, it's important to remember that men built the planes, fought the wars, laid the railroad tracks, invented the cars, built the hospitals, invented the medicines, and sailed the ships that made it all happen. Jenny's response is simply rubbish. If that appeals to you, then you're going to love these books by Jenny. If I ask you, which English writer was regarded as the author of the first great work of prose in history? Would you think it would be a man? Probably. Janina Ramirez, a historian who is also an author and presenter. In fact, I first found out about Julian of Norwich from a TV programme Janina presented. She tells us that Julian of Norwich is regarded as the author of the first great work of English prose. And yet, for most of my life, I'd never even heard of her. So why have we never heard of her? Good question. No one told me about her at school, and no one told me about her at Sunday school either. In the preface of this book, Janina states that Julian of Norwich is the first woman known to write in English. Wow. Surely, as a piece of historical information, we should know that, and that deserves to be in history. And if you're puzzling why Julian is called Julian, even though she was a woman, you can read the book and find out more about her life and her great English prose. History often combines origin stories, myths, tales, and legends. And here is another book by Dr. Janina Ramirez. And if you're looking at this book and thinking, Ruth, that's a children's book, my response is, so what? It is. From Norse gods to African creators of the sun, Egyptian goddesses of the sky, and the Buddhist mother of compassion and wisdom, learn about the legends and myths of these amazing women who continue to inspire us spiritually today. It's a wonderful book for your daughters, nieces, and boys and nephews as well. Goddesses, guides, spirits, saint, witch, demon. This has 50 female figures from around the world who have entranced and empowered people through time, whose stories have shaped belief and who still inspire people today. Yes, they do.